Hey everyone, I'm Dan Stouse, Lead Wealth Advisor here at Flagstone Financial Management, and I thought that I would give you a little video summary on whether K through 12 expenses can be paid for out of a Nebraska college savings plan. So this is a blog article that we wrote several years ago, and it's still one of the most popular blog articles we've ever written. So I thought maybe some of you are, well, it's obvious several of you are still interested in this topic. So here's a rundown of some various scenarios that you might be in. The first scenario is you live in Nebraska, you got a state tax deduction because you contributed money to the state sponsored plan, the NEST plan. This is where most of our clients would find themselves in, and that's probably the most common type of person who might even be listening to this. Well, if you got a deduction in Nebraska and you want to pull out that money to use it for K through 12 expenses, Nebraska is not going to view that as a qualified expense. So here's what's going to happen. Most likely will happen, I should say, because your accountant will really be the person to help you with this. But you will repay any deduction that you've received in the past. So it kind of negates the the state income tax benefit that you've received in the past. And then you'll also have to pay state income tax on the growth. There's no state specific penalty, so you don't have to worry about that. Some states do have a penalty for unqualified expenses. So that'll be the situation that you might find yourself in. Federally, the federal government views this as a qualified expense. That change happened back in 2018. So no issues there. It's just specific to Nebraska. Second scenario, you live in Nebraska, but you contributed to a different state's plan. So this happens for various reasons. Someone might not care about the state income tax deduction. They may have contributed to a Utah plan or a 520 or a 529 plan in Virginia. Those are common ones. Well, you never got a income tax deduction in the first place because you didn't use the state sponsored plan. So there's no benefits to recapture from that standpoint. But you probably will have to pay growth, state income tax on the growth when you take it out. The third scenario that you might find yourself in is you're not living in Nebraska, but you used the NEST plan. So what if you are a resident of Colorado and you used the Nebraska plan because it was familiar to you? Maybe you used to live in Nebraska and you just kept that plan and you kept contributing to it. Well, if you pull that money out, the whatever you contributed to it while you lived outside of Nebraska, you didn't get a state income tax deduction on that. You probably didn't, I should say. Depends on the state that you live in. But it does, whether there's going to be other consequences depend on the state that you live in. So if your state doesn't view that as a qualified expense, then you might have to pay state income tax on the growth. You might have a state specific penalty for pulling out money for an unqualified expense. So those are going to be the three common groups of folks who might be interested in this. There are actually more, particularly for people who made contributions and then moved. But think about, like, did you get a Nebraska tax deduction when you contributed? If you did, then you're going to have to repay that. And there's no state specific penalty for Nebraska. So I hope that provides you with a decent summary. I should mention, if you're interested in an update, I'm recording this on May 28th, 2024. And right now there have been a couple attempts by the state legislature to adopt the federal change from 2018 that says that K through 12 expenses are a qualified expense, but none of those have been successful so far. The most recent attempt, the discussion has just been tabled indefinitely. So it doesn't seem like anytime soon that this is going to change, but it certainly could. So if you have questions about whether rule is still the case, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us online at flagstonefm.com. Thanks for watching.